Welcome back to Black White Banter, you lovely, jubbly Newcastle fans, and welcome back to Black White Banter Live. Here we go. It's the business end of the season. If you didn't need reminding, we've got 3 cup finals. Oh, God, there's the cliche. I've already started. 3 cup finals to make or break whether we will be getting our passports out next season. It's a Friday night. The sun is shining. Newcastle United are scoring goals for fun. Newcastle United are class. And we've got some lovely, jubbly guests tonight. And I'll tell you what, there's a few familiar faces. There's a few faces you might not have seen yet. But I've got a full room of people. And, of course, I've got a beer in my hands. I hope somebody watching this is joining me. So before I get everyone in, what are we going to be going through on this video? We're going to talk about the key talking points of the week, as we normally do. We're then going to dive into a match preview. We're then going to dive into some predictions. And then we're going to finish on a spicy couple of numbers. But before we get going, the comments are already flying. That's what I like to see. Before we get going, let's get our guest. Now, I'll start with someone who's becoming a little bit too familiar on these videos now. I think everyone who's in the comments knows it's the Call Dog. Let's get the Call Dog in the building. Woof, woof, woof.
Hey!
Bonjour, Mr. Cullen. How are you, sir?
I'm very well indeed, actually. It's been a beautiful day, hasn't it?
It certainly has. It's a beautiful week for 3 points. How are we not feeling going into the weekend? Anyway, no, I'll hold that. I'm going to get the rest of my guests on before I ask you any questions. Bite your tongue there. Next up, again, is another face that I had on last week, so he's now becoming a bit of a mainstay. He did have some bad news to me. I don't think he's going to be at the match tomorrow, so I might have to find a small violin from somewhere. Adam, let's get Adam in the building. Adam, sir. Oh, you're on portrait again, Adam. Come on. We've tinkered with this. How are you? There you go. There you go. How are you, Adam?
Getting me great fucking headed now. I'm all right, mate. I'm warm, very warm.
Yes, it is a little bit warm.
Am I delayed?
No, I don't think so. Don't worry about it too much. I'm just trying to get us up to speed as best as I can. Right. And before we touch on all the different things we're going to try and get through tonight. By the way, sorry I was a little bit delayed. Apologies. Technical issues, as I always have. Next up, I've got 2 more guests waiting in the wings. Next up, because his camera is on, I'm going to get someone from overseas. Someone from over the water on. Jimbo.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jim. How's it going, my friend?
It's going.
It's going. So, as is now the rule, Jim, for the first time on these shows, I've got some very quick fire questions for you whilst Adam tinkers around and makes me feel a bit seasick while moving his camera.
Sorry.
Jim, obviously I know you. We met in America last year for the summer series. I know you're a massive Newcastle fan. You wake yourself up in all stupid sorts of times, but we'll touch on that as the video goes on. First question, you've got to give these answers fast. Happiest memory supporting Newcastle?
Actually winning the championship. I came in on watching the 2016 season, so it was the first trophy I saw us go up with, and it was important at the time.
Certainly was. I'll take that answer. What is your most controversial Newcastle opinion that not everyone agrees with? Newcastle opinion, sorry. I don't know whether I said opinion there.
We've
all got one.
Hard. I'm ready. Players that I would have kept still.
Right, go on then. Give me one.
And it's purely from nostalgia because, like I said, I came in from 16. So
give me the name.
If Jonjo was still in kicking long balls.
All right, okay. Yeah, that's fair. A lot of people were obviously thought it was over his time, so I'll give you that. And last question, are Newcastle going to win a trophy in the next 5 years?
Of course. Plenty of Sulla and Ryder Cups.
Boom. Right. I'm going to get my last, but certainly not least, guest on. I'm going to get Hannah in the building. If she's going to put a webcam on, she's not actually showing it. There she is. Right.
It's not OnlyFans.
Thanks very much. Same could be said.
Hannah, if there's any, if you can go landscape, that's great. If you can stick portrait, that's fine. Firstly, Hannah.
It's not right for Hannah, but not for Adam. You sexist pig.
No, Adam.
Oh.
Adam's been on here before. He knows the drill. We've already discussed him trying to go landscape. Hannah, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad. So, Hannah, I'm going to because it's your first time on the show, I'm going to chuck some questions straight at you. So you've just heard what the questions were, so you've given yourself a couple of minutes to think. First and foremost, what's your happiest memory supporting Newcastle?
So I know the result didn't go our way, but I've been going to watch Newcastle for a long time with my dad. So to finally see us get to a cup final and getting the chance to go to Wembley, I definitely think that is up there, despite not having the best result on the day.
I don't think we cared that much the way it ended up going, really. Next one, what is your most controversial Newcastle opinion? Please give me something spicy.
I don't know if it's that controversial because I know other people think it, but yes, they've served us well, but the likes of Longstaff and Murphy, it's time to go.
Oh, Murphy as well, right? Okay, I know everyone's getting on Longstaff's back. Murphy's an interesting one, right? Fair. And last but not least in the questions, will Newcastle win a trophy in the next 5 years?
I think so, yeah.
Boom. I haven't had one person say, I think people don't, I don't know whether people don't want to say no to that question. Right. Here we all are, 5 on the screen. This is new for me. This is very, very new for me. So, without further ado, there's a lot of things I want to talk about on this, and we're not going to dive straight into the Brighton preview. First man, and I spoke about him on my last video that I just want to touch the surface with tonight, and I've got some questions for you all, and in the comments, of course, which I will keep an eye on in a second, is Mr. Callum Wilson. So the only reason I'm going to bring this man up again, I spoke about him in the aftermath of Burnley because I thought he was absolutely brilliant, is because I've done a video this week, and I think it's fair to say that anyhow, the backroom staff, they're all trying to figure out, do we keep him? Is there anyone sniffing financially? But what I was most interested at is that there was a unanimous sell him in the comments of my video that I only posted this morning, admittedly. Something doesn't sit well with me with that because if we are to sell him and get, say, 15 to 20 million, which some people are hoping we might, if that happens, yes, that's going to help with FFP. But we've got so many different positions on the pitch to try and bring in and to boost their goalkeepers. People are talking about right midfield, defensive midfield. To get the striker to compete with Isak, who scores a lot of goals like Wilson does when he's fit, I just don't know whether we have the budget. So, this is difficult when I've got 4 people on. I'll go in the same order to start with that I brought people on. Colin, I'll start with you on this one. Firstly, what is your thoughts on Wilson being at the football club next season? And what are we looking at realistically to sell him? I mean, are we going to get 20 million for a player with his injury record and whatnot?
Possibly. I've pointed out a couple of things in recent games that I'm not quite sure. I think there's something where Wilson doesn't get on with every player at the ground. I think the likes of Bruno doesn't seem to get on too well. Isak, I'm not quite sure they gel as well as they should, although the previous game they did. But personally, I think he's got to be a man they keep for another season because we're still in a building period of this club from the takeover. And personally, I think possibly another year with them, we might have to have him there. I know he's injury prone, but he has scored some good goals this season and previous seasons. So personally, I'm not quite sure we should be letting him go. I think another year with him and then get what they can after that, or that'll be the end of his contract, won't it? Mm-hmm. So did he score another 12, 15 goals in a season, which is worthwhile, or do they sell him and we bring in somebody else who's younger but still got a bed in? I'm not quite sure.
Well, I'll come over to you, Adam, and everyone knows how much I love my stats, and I know I must be so annoying, like a fly stuck in the curtains with some of the stats I come out with. But yes, he's been injured a lot, but he's got the least minutes per goal of any striker when he's actually played. And what the thing I think fascinating about Wilson is when he does come back from injury, he doesn't take 3 to 4 matches to get back to speed. It seems to be rapid. It seems to be fast that he starts scoring again. So where's your head at with this one?
Me.
Yes, yeah, I'll go. I'll still.
Right. But yeah, you dropped me in there. But I'll tell you something, right? Wilson comes into a team that they've got players that are fit that haven't been fit, and yeah, he's banging a goal in the game because they've got Gordon and Isaac and Barnes. Even not Bruno, even though they're not really good mates. But I'm just going to go back to what you're saying about bringing a young player in. Tomorrow, Brighton are going to bring a player that is a proper number 9, and it's Ferguson. And I'd go out my way to buy him, to mould him, because he's like a Shearer type of player. And I think he's got potential. He's a proper number 9. And Wilson, yeah, he is. He's a centre forward, but he's not what I'd call a number 9 at Newcastle.
Do you not think so?
No, because he's injury prone, and they also offer the field. The things he does offer the field. Like when he's injured, you saw pictures of Trippier carrying his bags when Trippier on crutches, and then you see pictures of him on a yacht. When he's injured, but then you've got players at Newcastle that are in that team dressing room when they're winning matches and losing matches.
Yeah.
And I just think, yes, I don't not like Wilson. He is good, but I do think now he's being more bullied. If you watch now, he can't hold up a defender anymore because he's getting dragged. All right, we're not getting decisions from referee, but he seems to be manhandled off a ball or manhandled off a position without the ball. And I just think, right place, right time.
So would he be on your list? And I know there's a lot of talk about we don't have many sellable assets. I mean, I hate talking about a footballer as an asset. It makes me sick. I hate it. But would he be
figures, mate?
Would he be one of them assets that we need to look to shift on for you then?
No, because what Cole said about keeping him for another year, because I don't think we ain't got the funding.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got the funding to go and buy. I mean, to find a striker, a nice striker. Look at Arsenal. I mean, Man City fell on with Haaland, but I mean, Haaland's been worked out. He's been worked out, and he's been off the ball. But I just think there's. For a through and through number 9 striker, proper centre forward, you're limited. There's not many coming through. They're all like a number 10 or a number 11. They're just well. That's just my opinion anyway. That's me.
Jim, but I won't keep the question the same because what I find interesting that I was just talked about is obviously the talk of Ferguson, which was actually going to make part of me chat as we go into this because obviously one of Brighton's players. But what I talked about in the video I posted earlier, and I find it really interesting when you look, is yes, I think we need that young striker, but to have a young striker who, like Ferguson, for example, I agree with you, Adam, he's a good player, and he looks like he's going to be a good player. We know this season with his hat-trick at the Amex, he's a good player. If Alexander Isak, God forbid, got an injury, and he's had them. I mean, you can always argue Alexander Isak's been injured quite a lot since he's been at Newcastle. That leaves us so short in terms of the squad to compete in hopefully the Europa or the Conference League, FA Cup, Carabao. So do you think it's a little bit risky, Jim, to go for a young, say, for example, if we sold Callum Wilson in the summer and brought in a young striker to just compete with him, is that a bit of a risk or is that something you would be looking to do? Oh, your audio's cut off, Jim. I'm not a great lip reader. I think you just said... go on, sorry.
As long as everybody buys into the game plan, if everybody knows that Isak's going to be the primary, Callum is a super sub, so to speak, for next season, and that young third guy understands that he is there to learn from both of them and be like that next generation in a season or two. Absolutely.
So do you not think that leaves us a little bit short?
No, because at the same time, like I said, Wilson could always come in as a sub, and if we had that third young guy that is there, it still fills the position.
Apologies. So you were saying to keep Wilson and bring in a young striker on top of that. Sorry, I misunderstood that. Right, that's fair. And again, last but certainly not least, Hannah, I know I brought you on last. I'm coming to you last. I will mix up the order to keep you on your toes, I promise. Callum Wilson, I'm going full circle in questions. Where's your head at with Callum Wilson? Do you? Because I feel like a lot of fans, as I said on Monday when we talked about him, there's a lot of. We all have a soft spot for him, or most of us. I don't think Adam does. I think Adam's got some beef with him that we don't know about that he's not going to tell us about on this video. I'm joking, but I think we all have a soft spot because he's been with us. I think a lot of players that were with us pre-takeover, we've got a soft spot for, and he did. He did a lot for us before the takeover was. Do you think it's his time now or not?
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a. For me, part of me feels like he's mentally checked out of the team as well. So like he doesn't necessarily want to be here either. And I think on some of the points around, if we did bring somebody in, I don't even think Wilson becomes second choice. I think he potentially slips into third because of his injury. He is very injury prone. And I think it's a risk as well to make that decision to keep Wilson and not bring somebody else in. And then if we do finish sixth, then we do get Europe and then we're on a run of games again and we're without Wilson and we're relying on Isak. We don't want to end up in that cycle where we've been this season with loads of injuries. So I think there's there's pros and cons, isn't there? I suppose I would like.
We don't sit on the fence on this show, mind. I need a yes or no. Would you keep him next season or not?
If we could keep him fit, I would absolutely like to see him stay. But I just don't think we'll get a full season out of him, and I think that's been proven over the past couple of years. Yeah. So if we can cash in and get some money for him, I know what you're saying. Is there anybody out there who replaced him? I don't know. Again, I'm going to be on the fence with that one, but I just no.
Right, okay.
Matty, can I just say, I'm just reading some comments in that, but I find, when Gareth Southgate were looking and they were coming up to England and all that, he played the blinders. He always played better when he was trying to get in that England squad. But sometimes I don't think he puts everything into it. I think sometimes he plays up to being picked for England squad. And
I don't like, again, I want everyone to be as honest on this as possible. I don't want us ever to be those that sit on the fence because you're worried that you might get battered in the comments, and that's me included. I don't like the way Wilson comes across when he speaks. I think he absolutely loves himself, and that's fine. The best players do. But I watched his interview today about getting the England squad. You might have seen it on BBC when he gets asked the question, and he's still talking about himself as like, yeah, I'm better than him. And I like that because that he goes into a match thinking I'm going to score today. I don't mind that. But
I disagree with you here.
I disagree
with you. I'm sure every single one of us is jump in. I'm sure every single one of us has watched the Anthony Gordon interview with Gary Neville, and it's superb. But he's a very focused young individual. But yes, he'll say, I know I'm going to beat somebody. I could be faster. But he's not like I love myself type of player, and he is probably one of the best players we bought in the last 5 years. I personally think. I think he's been a transformation coming to Newcastle United. I just worry about Wilson, and yes, I still would like him to stay for a year, but he would never be the first choice for me ever. I think Isak's got that, and I think Wilson is one of these players. Take away the injury, he can finish. We know that. We've seen some great finishes from him, but he's like a spoiled child sometimes as well, and that frustrates me a little bit because all I ever want as a fan is a player to come and play with his heart in his sleeve, give a full 100% when he steps on that pitch. And we all, whether we're won, lost or draw, as long as we've seen that passion from the player, I don't want you going around thinking, swanning about, think I'm the best in the world. Because it's not where we as fans do things. We have adulations for our players because of the attitude to want to play for this club and play for the fans.
I think he's probably, sorry, just to jump in, out of everyone in the squad, I think he's probably one of the most to have the tendency to spit his dummy out in the dressing room if something doesn't go his way.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
think even if he was fully fit, I don't think he'd be bought into being rotated. I think he'd expect to be number one, and unfortunately, that's
every week
ahead of Isak.
But do you think, and this is why I think them two get the best out of each other, I think there's an argument there, and I totally agree with you. He probably does spit his dummy out quite a lot. But I think when he's come on last season, when Isak was playing matches, and he's come on for this, I think Eddie Howe went through a spell last year when he was bringing Callum Wilson on the second half. And they were like, sometimes they were mixing up, sometimes they were staying on the field. I feel like Callum Wilson, when he comes on, plays with an extra 10-15% because he wants to basically go to Eddie Howe, up yours, I'm better than that Swedish prick, and I'm going to show you in my time on the pitch. And I feel like I don't think that'll work long term because Callum Wilson probably wants reassurances if he was to stay. Well, am I the understudy to that Swedish prick, or am I going to start many matches? But I think there's an argument then that we've seen better things from him from coming off the bench. I mean, I would love to see his bench to goal stats in the last year compared to other players. But yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, I think we all upset Jim.
He's not a 90-minute player, Matthew. He's not a 90-minute player.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and a lot of people might not agree with us. I don't think right now, and I know he's very good, but I still don't think he's fully fit. I don't think Alexander Isak looks a 90-minute player.
No, he gets leggy. He gets
very leggy. Very leggy.
Yeah, and he doesn't track back very much either.
No,
you know, when it gets later, he does. But he's not a number 9.
Yeah. I know we've really chewed the fat with that one. So I'm gonna have to move on to our next debate, and this is one for me that's wound me up this week. Before we are going to talk about Brighton, ladies and gentlemen. I promise we are. But I want to talk about this gentleman who I'm going to put on the screen. Not he hasn't wound me up. He's done the total opposite. I mean, not the best photo of him, Anthony. I know you watch this every week. I'm really sorry I've shared that photo. It looks like you've got a way wider mouth than what you probably actually do. The reason I want to talk about this gentleman is because this was announced this week, and Anthony Gordon was not one of the players nominated. And honestly, I'm looking at the names, and yes, Alexander Isak's on there. Fantastic, great. One of our players has made the young player of the season. And to be honest, Isak, how young he is, he's probably in with a shout of getting it. I think Isak amongst them. But I'm looking at these names, and yes, I'll go to one of the best seasons out of all of these. Saka's stats are very good. He's got 6 more goals than Anthony Gordon in a team that has pretty much been top of the league all season. He's got less assists. And I'm looking at the Tottenham defender, Mr. Udogie, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. I apologise if I've butchered him, because I think he watches this show as well. How he is getting in instead of a player who has gone from literally, I don't want to say 0 to hero. We didn't hate the lad last season, but my God, was there a lot of scepticism in our fan base, me included. £45 million. Let's trust things and see how he does next year. He come off the back of winning the Euros with the youngsters in the summer. Player of the tournament, can I just say? And I know this is the Premier League award. And the fact, double figures in goals and assists in a season when Newcastle have floated about the 8th or 9th mark. Most of the players on here, Tottenham going for Champions League. And then don't even get me started on Kobe Mainu. Jesus Christ almighty. The player can have one good game for Man United and they are the best thing. And I'm going to swear, I apologise, since fucking sliced bread. Literally, I know he's good. He looks a right talent. And I don't, people saying he's better than Miley. I think based off what I've seen, I think he's got more to his game currently than what Lewis Miley does when he played for us, when he was starting. Sorry, that's my rant of this show. I don't like to rant. But I'll start with you, Jim. I'll mix the order up. What's your thoughts on this?
Gordon should definitely be. I would even on a young player replace Isak, because isn't Isak still on player of the season as well too?
I didn't look at player actually.
Golden boot.
Yeah, well, he's up for. I think that Gordon definitely with double digits in goals and assists. I think age, performance improvement. I don't know who I'd replace in there, but should be included at least.
Surely over Manu. I know he looks good, but he hasn't. It's not as if Manu's done it over a full season where he's had some very good performances. He has, but winds me up. It does.
Is that Maggie barking?
Exactly. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? She's looking at me thinking, "All right, Dad, chill out. There's people watching." Hannah, I'll come back to you on this one. Were you anywhere near as annoyed as me? I don't think anyone was nearly as annoyed as me when I saw this.
I could be as annoyed as you. No, I'm surprised that he wasn't in there. I think the thing that bugs me with that is I suppose they have the young player of the year, then they also have, I think, Jim's just the player of the year, and you still have the likes of Haaland and Foden in that as well, and I just never understand why they need to differentiate a little bit, because then it just becomes, I think last season, what did Haaland go win the lot, and it just, then part of you thinks if they are in it, are they even going to even stand a chance? You know, like in that young player category, I think if they mix it up a little bit, it gives more people that opportunity, or more players the opportunity, to sort of get recognised in there. But I'm not as passionate about the naming thing as you, but I do agree that, I guess, when the commentary, for example, when he's playing, they're all over him, but yet I didn't see them giving Miley as much sort of airtime, and I don't know is that, you're right, is it because he's in a Man United shirt? Yeah, probably.
And if anyone wasn't aware, the amount I've mentioned Manu over other players on that sheet, Man United don't get on the best, to be in a bit of an understatement. Colin, what's your thoughts on this?
Have I read that Anthony Gordon has won Player of the Season for Newcastle United?
Yes, just today. Yes, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Now, so you see that, and you see what they've got up there, and you see how well he has played, and I think apart from being banned for one game, I think he's played in every single game, hasn't he? He's never been injured this season, and the guy's had a tremendous season. I don't think there's the turnaround in him, and even he admitted in that interview that to be a better player, he had to move clubs, and Eddie's ambition was probably the reason he moved to the club. Of course, Newcastle, where they were sitting in fourth at the time, from what I remember in the interviews, one of the reasons he joined us. And I like ambition in a player, but I also like a player who plays for the team, plays as a team player, because there's one thing for sure, the lad is not an individual. He's individually talented, but he doesn't play as an individual, he plays as a team member. And that's why he should be on that list.
If he is not on the plane at Euro 2024, I mean, you've seen how I've reacted to him getting some daft little award that probably he'll just sit and gather dust in his mansion somewhere. If he is not on the plane to the Euros, I'm done. I mean, I'm not the most patriotic anywhere. Like, England is just totally different thing for me to Newcastle. Totally different. Adam, I'll come to you last. I've calmed down now, so you won't get any more ranting from us, I promise.
That's all right, mate. With Gordon, I just think it's not just about the young player. Yeah, it's what he's done. He's come in and he's stepped up to the mark because we've had that many injuries, and his individual talent has been fantastic. But also, he's done it for the team in games where we needed to get a result or a draw or whatever, and he's done it. And like you say, he weren't the favourite when he come to Newcastle, and he weren't because last season when they went to go again, and he wore that bed sheet turning up to training centre. He wore that bed sheet thing, didn't he? And I thought, oh, please don't get this nonce here. Sorry, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I'm really sorry. It's just opinion. But then when he rocked up on at Newcastle, and the guy got him in his car from Hilton Hotel and took him to the match. Do you remember? Yeah. I thought, what a boy. Yeah. What a boy. But then when you watch him...
Sorry, I was just going to say, just to clarify, if anyone watching this likes wearing bed sheets in their spare time, Black and White Band is not against the wearing of bed sheets.
Other bed sheets are available.
I will be releasing a line of bed sheets. Yes, that's correct. Right. Well, interestingly, just off the stats you've mentioned, Gary made a good one, which I probably should have mentioned when I went on my massive rant. I think I'd lost my head at that point. Not only has he got them goals and assists, but also he's won. It's 6 penalties actually, Gary. So I'm gonna be that guy to correct you on that one. But 6 penalties is like getting 6 goals. That is as good as an assist and a goal, pretty much. His stats are absolutely brilliant. Sorry, I know I haven't shared many comments on the screen. By the way, if anyone would like a question discussed at the end in a bit wider detail, I should have mentioned this at the start. Hashtag BWB. Put that at the start because it makes it much easier for me to spot the question. Hashtag BWB. Whatever it is, if you want to discuss the weather, if you want to discuss holiday destinations you're thinking about this summer, it doesn't have to be football related, but we'd prefer if it was. Feel free to do so. Right. I've got that rant out of my system. Let's move on to happier things. Hopefully, like Newcastle United absolutely smashing another team at St James's Park. So there is a football match we're here to talk about, and it is Brighton and Hove Albion at St James's Park in what is the last home game of the season, which is always sad. I don't know about yous. When I walk in St James's Park for the last home game, I always feel a bit like, it's over now. It's done.
I've just read somebody's comment.
Right. Do you want to allude to which comment, Colin, or are you just going to keep guessing? No.
Sorry.
Right. Okay. So Brighton. So yes, of course, I've got some stats to share on the screen. So firstly, though, if anyone remembers the last time we played Brighton down in August, firstly, it was red hot. Secondly, it was the longest car journey of my life with Cold Dog, but I was trying to book my Milan flights on the way down and I got car sick, which never happens to me. It was disgusting. But also, it was that long ago. Look who's on the pitch for us. This is a weird image. Who's that? Who is
Sandro.
that bloke with the long hair? Can I just ask anyone? If anyone in the comments wants to let me know, Sandro Tonali was on the pitch. That's how long ago it was. And it was a disgusting day. Mr. Ferguson, who you've mentioned, who you're a big fan of, Adam, he had an absolute riot that day. He got a hat-trick. We were awful. And you wondered at that point, that was probably Eddie Howe's first little spell of pressure in this job, because I think we'd lost 3 in a row. We'd lost Liverpool at home, Man City away, and then that one, and it wasn't looking great. Not from me. The criticism wasn't from me, can I just say it? But, yeah, very generally, before I dive into the stats and talk about the opposition, I'll start with you, Hannah. What's your initial thoughts going into this one? Are you feeling a bit of a banker because Newcastle are doing so well, or you're a little bit more sceptical about Brighton?
I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm hoping it's going to be, the sun's going to be shining, the atmosphere should be good. It's the last home game of the season, so that should have the crowd sort of pumped up, shouldn't it? But I don't think we can underestimate. We can't just go into it complacent thinking it's in the bag because we're at home. Because we've seen us go down, like look at the what game was it the other week? Manchester United. We went on 0 down. I know it was very early on, but we were very sloppy to begin with. We need to just go in all out attack, go for it. But again, we can't underestimate Brighton because I think in part they've had a decent run, haven't they? And I think that game at their place early on in the season, I mean, we were awful that day. I think we did a few games, hadn't we? But at home, last game of the season, the sun will be shining, get a win in the bag, and we'll all go home happy and be back in August, start again.
It is supposed to be a very sunny day, which I think the last home game of the season, we always seem to get a night game. It's been Monday the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The last couple of seasons. I feel like the last game should be sunny. I mean, I'm debating getting my shorts on, but I don't think I've got a pair that anybody would want to see me walk around St James's Park. And it has that feeling. There'll be a big flags display. We haven't been given any teasers, and that's the way it should be. I don't like it when photos get leaked early about the flag displays. I prefer to walk in and be surprised by it. That's the way the last game should be. Jim, I know. What time will the Brighton game be for you? 9
a.m.
Oh, so, if you really wanted to get on the beers beforehand, then you could, but it's a bit of a minging start to the day.
We start with the ciders and the IPAs at about 8:45.
Nice. I miss America. I miss watching a game in a stupid time. I know. I genuinely do. How many people are you expecting to join you tomorrow?
We usually have, we're a smaller group here. We usually have at least 5. If any visitors come from out of country and stuff, we can get up to about 20.
Nice. Nice. And how's your thoughts going into this one?
I'm strangely optimistic. I think it's going to be I think we won't see that struggle in the first 15, 20 minutes that we did the last couple of games. I think they're going to come out firing. I think it's going to be a last point of domination at home and going for it. And I expect to see some good goals.
Wonderful. So that's two. Probably you a little bit more on the confident side than what Hannah was. I'll come over to you, Adam. How are you feeling? And you told us you weren't able to get tickets. If anyone watching this has a spare ticket, there is a man on this stream right now who would probably snap your hand off. He'd probably be getting in his car first thing in the morning to get straight to the pub. Well, he wouldn't be driving in his car to go to the pub.
No, one of them electric ones. Tomorrow, mate. I think it's going like last game. I said, when we won, I think we'll either go to town. Last game of the season at home, people coming back. Obviously, Trippier's coming back. I don't think he's going to play Pope. I don't know if I'm like bringing subjects up what you're going to cover. I don't think he'll play Pope. But Trippier's coming back, you've got all these players back, and I really do think they'll go out on a high. And I think... What?
I heard a noise there. I don't know who that was. Well, just carry on. I think there was a bit of interference from someone's quarter there. You keep talking.
No, I just think we're either going to be... I know it's going to be hard. Like, I can't remember the lady's name. Hannah. Like she said, it's going to be a tough match, and it's always going to be a tough match. But I think that, I think it's going to be a mockery of a result. I think it's going to be about 4-0.
Oh, I wasn't necessarily going to ask for scores. I was going to keep them for the end. So you've already revealed that. Well, I've got scores coming in.
Have I ever told you that I'm related to Mystic Meg?
Well, there you go. You were very close last week. Very, very close. Colin, over to you, because you're normally, I speak to you most match days just before the game. You are normally Mr. Confident. You've normally always telling me, just to clarify before I make the statement, Black and White Banter does not promote gambling in any way on sport events. Colin normally has a cheeky little bet on Newcastle to win. It's normally quite handsome. So
I've done it quite well. The last game I won a few hundred quid, to be about 260 quid the last game.
Colin, can I have your number, please? Keep losing.
Thing is, do you know, I'm sitting here and I am nearly crying because I've chosen to go on a stag do tomorrow instead of going to the match.
Are you not coming? What? You said you were going to come back for it. You're not coming back for it?
Nah, I can't come back from New York, mate.
All right.
Anyway, enough's enough. People know me well enough. I go to most matches, home and away. So we're going to Man United next week. 3-1 for me. I'm going to put a cheeky 20 quid on that. And I think somebody's nailed it in the comments. Love to see Elliot Anderson get a goal. Truly would.
Yes.
Last game of the season.
Yeah, last home game, yeah.
I'd love to see Elliot Anderson score. He thoroughly deserves it. And I do you know, somebody, I think Adams mentioned Trippier coming back. Do you know, it'd be a tough shout for him to step back into the squad at the minute. Really tough shout. And Pope, I think he will start. You know, whether or not he does let him start or brings him on after we're winning 3-0 and Pope lets a goal in for that one for me to win my money, then I'll be all right with that. Whichever way you look at it, like I'm going to win some money tomorrow. At least I can cash out. I'm not at St James's, to be fair.
On the stag do. I'll get the round, lads. I'll get the round. Just cash it.
What I will say is, me and Colin were just chatting earlier in the. He did actually. He's using the stag. Sorry, Colin, I'm going to land you. He's using the stag do as a reason. He did actually say to me today. You know me, Matthew. I'm only a fan of the big games. Brighton's not a very big game. I just play ones against the top six. Right, so that's good. So
never getting a lift in the dirty matches ever again now.
That's definitely a lie. Just
fact that, Matthew.
Just because you want to be on my videos, that's the only reason you let me in the car. So that's definitely a lie.
You're a arsehole.
Right, so let's look at the opposition in a little bit more depth. So, of course, I've got some stats to put on the screen because who doesn't love numbers?
Of course.
Don't really mean much to many people. Interesting thing with Brighton, I'm sure everybody on this. There you go.
That's so I can understand you.
Exactly, that's what you need. Brighton are a very, 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 very big passing team. Their two centre backs. I don't have this stuff for the screen, but I'm going to go out on a whim and put my bollocks on the chopping board and say this: their two centre backs are the highest passing centre backs in the whole Premier League because they play the ball out from the back. And we found that out when we've played them. What Brighton like to do is they actually rely on a team pressing and then they pass through. So they'll be looking tomorrow for our front three, Gordon, whether it's Murphy, Isaac, to push onto the goalkeeper and then they pass through from the defence and they find those spaces in between. But as we probably already know, the stat on the right-hand side, what comes with a team that likes to pass the ball around? Would anyone like to tell me what normally happens? Anyone?
Drop bollocks.
Drop bollocks. Look,
That's a really polite way of putting it.
Yes, it's a polite way of putting it.
That can be used in this every time this is on the live stream. Drop bollock. I think that should be used all the time now.
Look at that Premier League energy. So I find Brighton a really fascinating team to play because I think Newcastle have set up against this sort of system where De Zerbi is wanting us to push on. But if you remember last season, it was Thursday night we beat these last season, I believe, when we were just about to secure European football. I think it was the following Monday we got the point against Leicester.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Champions League. But when we beat these, we were so well drilled. So everything Brighton wanted us to do, leaving space, pulling away from players, it didn't happen, and we gobbled them up. We absolutely. So I think Newcastle should press tomorrow. But I feel like Newcastle need to press in the most disciplined way possible because if we do it a bit sporadic, they will cut us open. And your players like your Matomas and your don't want to say Ferguson. I know you're a fan of him. It's just he has gone massively off the boil. I don't worry about Ferguson too much.
He has, Matthew. He has gone off football. You're right, but like beginning of the season, and obviously he went away, didn't he? And went. Is it Ireland?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's Irish. He played for. I can't remember. It's Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland. I can't remember. But he come back from that, and he has gone off football.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, I mean, I think even Shearer's even said that Ferguson's going to be class, and I think he is, to be fair. But anyway, that's my opinion. It's not about my opinion tonight. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it is. I mean, you'd be a pretty bad guest, Adam, if it wasn't about your opinion. That would be quite a strange show. So, with regards, and I am alluding to somewhere here. I'm not just randomly talking about stats and then leaving it there. With regards to team selection, Colin and Adam basically just touched on a little bit earlier. I think Adam, you questioned Nick Pope. Colin, you mentioned Trippier. I'll come back to you, Jim. Do we stick with the same team that was, and it was very different opposition? And, no disrespect to Burnley. I had the pleasure of meeting some of their fans. They were absolutely lovely. They laced me with the weirdest drink I've ever had in my life. They were very nice people. I'd like to see them come back. But generally speaking, do we keep with the same team because of that momentum? Or now that Nick Pope had 2 weeks training, I think Trippier might be back. I haven't actually had time to watch any house press conference. What are you thinking, Jim? Oh, you're on mute again. You're killing us here, Jim.
I'm not a big Martin fan, but I think he'll still start. He'll still start. I think if he gives up one in somewhere near the 62nd minute, maybe you'll see Pope come in just to get some minutes. But it's really Martin's to give up at this point.
And anywhere else on the pitch, like Barnes hasn't started more recently. Is that an option to come back in? Trippier?
I'd love to see Tripp come back in right away, but Kraft does a job, but he just does a job. He's IKEA. He's good enough for the price.
I like that. You've been practicing that one.
A little bit.
I'll come back over to you, Colin. Team selection, you've already touched on it a little bit. What are you thinking tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Gordon playing on the right side with Isaac up front and Bruno sitting behind, and hopefully Joe Linton will be there as well. He'll start tomorrow. I'd like to think that's going to happen. Trips, I think, will be on the bench. I think he'll leave the way we finished the last game. I think he'll leave the back. What's going to be back three with a kind of old-fashioned wing back we have now, don't we? In some ways, I don't think there's much change apart from Joe Linton will be the one who starts. I think poor Elliot Anderson will probably end up on the bench, but I'd love him to come on the last 30 minutes, last 25 minutes of the game. And I'm actually going to take him for a goal tomorrow. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, sorry, you've mentioned a name there that I feel frustrated myself for not even bringing into the conversation. Mr. Joe Linton, the Brazilian brick shithouse. I did not even think about him. I'll come over to you, Hannah. Any changes, or are you just happy to roll with what we had at Burnley?
I don't know if he will make any changes. And actually, I don't know if I would bring Joe Linton tomorrow, to be honest. I don't know whether I'd rather keep him again for Man United.
Don't you say
that? Yes. Oh, she's right. On Wednesday, that's it.
You probably are so ragged.
Piss off.
When we played Tottenham at home, did we have Barnes, Gordon, and Isak?
Yes, that was our starting for Tottenham.
Obviously, I've given me views at the start having Aaron Murphy. I'm not saying I just don't like him, but for me, Barnes is by far the better option. So I would be playing them three. It's me front three. But then again, where does that leave? That sticks Wilson on the bench, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting now because we've actually got some options. So
it's crazy. I honestly, Hannah, I can't believe that I'm asking these questions and I've missed off. I've gone straight in with Pope and Trippier because they were probably at the forefront of my mind because we mentioned about these two. Haven't even mentioned Callum Wilson, who we've talked about earlier. Haven't even mentioned Barnes. Haven't even mentioned Joe Linton. This is a Newcastle United team with actual options, first team footballers that can come in and actually have a bit of something about them. Imagine this crazy world we live in where we have options. This is a great conversation that we have, and whatever people's answers are. Absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm curious. Let's see what comments are coming in on team selection. Is there any?
Best comment of the night so far, Matthew. Best comment of the night is it's the Cold Dog Show.
Why did I not think that would be your favourite comment of the night?
Put that on the screen for me, will you, please?
I'll keep that one to the end.
How do you see the comments?
Click on comments on the top right where it's got private chat, but you're on your phone, aren't you?
No, iPad. Phone's here.
Right. What we are going to dive into now, Justin.
I'll talk about after.
We're going to juice things up a little bit. I introduced this on my last show. What's everyone's knowledge like on Newcastle United? We're going to do some quick fire questions. I'm not going to give you all a different phrase to use because there's so many people on the screen tonight is your buzzword. I just want you to go loud as you can down the camera, and that's what I will try and differentiate. So we are going to play a bit of How Much Do You Know? That was supposed to be.
How much do you know, like?
There it is. How much do you know?
Game show nobody's talking about.
Right, the rules are very simple. You buzz in first. I'm going to fight through some questions and we will try and tally the scores on the doors. Colin does not like this game at all because he didn't do very well in the last one. So he's got some redeeming to do if he's going to keep up. First question. This might be a fingers on buzzers question, so you're going to have to be quick here. You're going to have to make the loudest noise you can down the camera. What year were Newcastle United founded?
92. I'm in the noise.
Yeah, I think Hannah got in there first on that one.
What a load of rubbish. I shouted first.
No, it is a year.
Go on now. What's your answer to that one? I lost you there. I can't hear.
1892.
1892.
Sorry, I lost your sound there. Yeah, that is correct. Ding, 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 ding. Next question against. Oh, this is a difficult one. Against who did Shearer score his first friendly goal for Newcastle United when everybody... Oh, God, we've got Hannah very quick there.
I feel like I'm cheating here because we did some quick fire in the house last night, but it's Lincoln.
Oh.
Boom. There you go.
I
That
have
is
to put
two.
that disclaimer in because if I get them all right, you're going to be like, she's cheating anyway. So
You sat next to Matty.
Who? Next question. This is a one for all the people in the chat. So just Colin. Who was the goalkeeper when Newcastle United won the Intercities Fairs Cup in 1969?
Fuck me, I was only born in 69 for Christ's sake.
I thought you were at least 30 then.
Gordon. Oh no, Willie McFall.
Boom. Correct. That's 2-1 to 0 to 0.
Willie McFall ended up becoming manager for Newcastle United as well.
Oh. This is a one any Newcastle historian should know. By the way, there's no.
This is when I need my dad.
Well, I'm not being your dad, Adam.
No. I get a look from you.
I'm going to have to ask for silence for my contestants.
That right, he's my age.
Don't make me kick you out of the studio. I need silence for my contestants whilst the quizmaster asks the questions. Thank you very much. Who was Newcastle United's manager between 1962 and 1975?
Oh,
I'll give you a clue. He's got a song that still gets chanted in the stands. I'll give you a final clue. I'll even do the tune. No,
Joe Harvey.
I need the buzzer noise, Colin.
Joe Harvey.
Joe Harvey's correct. We got there in the end. I was a bit surprised, but I mean, is that you saying my singing's not very good, right? Next question. That is 2-2 to 0 to 0. So it's getting a little bit tight. You stragglers behind might need to put your ideas up. With which league club did Peter Beardsley start his league career? That's a slightly harder one.
Manchester United.
yeah.
That is incorrect.
Oh, it's Carlisle then.
I need the buzzer.
Beep, it's Carlisle.
It is Carlisle. You have slotted into a lead. By the way, if anyone lets Colin win this quiz, I am never doing one of these ever again. We need to make sure this man, he will remind me of it every single week. Right, I'm going to wrap this up. 2 more questions. So it is still all to play for. It's still very, very much to play for. Which team? These are very historical questions, I must admit. I'm going to change that one. I'm going to late change to my questions. I don't want to make them too historical. All right. Next question. Who defeated Newcastle United in the 1999 FA Cup final?
Man United.
Boom. That's a 4-2 lead for the Call Dog. I feel like
There were no beat. There were no buzzer.
No, he did beep. He did beep. Final question. So yes, Colin, you have wrapped this one up with a knick-knack paddywhack. How many times did Newcastle United win the FA Cup between 1950 and 1959? It was a very good start.
Twice.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
3.
Boom. Colin wraps that up with a knick-knack paddywhack. Give a dog a bone. Colin goes laughing all the way home. There was a strong start by Hannah there, and then Hannah dropped off a little bit.
Hold on. Let me get this right. You're never doing that again. Is that correct?
Not when you're on the show. That's correct. Right, the answers have been flat. New York Jets. Oh, New York Jets. I'm assuming that was in replied. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the comments. I won't put them on the screen because the quiz is done now. Right. Before we wrap things up, fully, I am going to do some, before we get into the questions from the audience, of course, and there has been some come in, I'm going to do score predictions on the doors. I don't just want score prediction, ladies and gentlemen. I want score prediction and first scorer. And if you want to be very specific, like some people like to be and say, it's going to go 1-0, then it's going to go 1-1, then it's going to go, that's fine. Because some people's brains work like that. You've already visualized what's going to happen. That's what I like. I'll start with you, Jim. What is your full prediction and first scorer?
4-1, Isaac with a brace.
Nice. I like that score prediction. Over to you, Coldog. Mr. Quiz champion.
Do you know what? I was going to go 3-1 because it's only 10-1 for that. I'm actually going to go 5-1, which is 30-1, and I'm going to go for Elliot Anderson scoring the last goal.
This is not the bookie store. You're changing your prediction because of the odds.
Yeah, 100%. I need decent odds to win to me. So.
Have you ever heard the phrase "when the fun stops, stop, Colin"?
It only stops when you haven't got 100-1 on the horses. There's no point in, is there?
Right, over to you, Adam. I think you've already given your scores on the doors.
Yeah, 4-0. First scorer, Gordon.
Oh, yes. Sticking up the arse of them Premier League idiots, not giving him that nomination. Yes,
Have
Anthony.
a little bit of that.
Yes.
Going in dry and all. Don't spit on it, just go in dry. Here, I'll have that. Oof.
And Hannah, what about yourself?
I'm going to go 3-1. Isak, first goal scorer.
Ooh, yeah, that was a very, very straight to the point answer. I like it when you've all given it some thought. I like it. Right. Let's see what scores are coming in. I'm not ignoring news on this one. This is where I do share some comments on screen. Andrew, this one's had a few whiskies. What have we got? We've got a 4-1. He wins in the building. 4-1 Gordon.
Good scores, though, haven't we, Matthew, at the last game of the season at home?
Sorry?
We've had some really good wins in the last game of the season at home.
Yeah.
My favourite ever will always have to be Arsenal when we beat them 2-0 in Eddie's first season.
I met Amanda then. That night. Oh, it was brilliant.
We absolutely ruined their season. They bottled it. The flag display with the star was apt. I think that was when
class.
That flag display was when we realised that war flags aren't messing about. Like, oh, you know, a couple of flags, bit of a wavy when you come in. Nah, they upped their game, and we were like, wow, these war flags people.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It was fast. What else we got coming in? 2-1, Gordon first goal scorer. Any win at this stage of the season before we play that awful lot on Wednesday, I will take. We need to win the football match. 3-1 to us, lots of confidence. This is what I like. Arsenal home. Oh, that's you, Coldog. 2-0 Barnes. Oh, we've got both scorers. I like that. Not going in on the one. I've double bubble. Right. Before we do wrap up, this is your chance, ladies and gentlemen. Audience questions, and there has been quite a few tonight. So let's. This is where I should play some elevator music, where I try and dig them out.
Jax is a great question.
Right, just wait until I get there. Unless he's first, he might be first. Colin, he
No,
might
he's
be
the last
first
one
on the list. Yeah, I didn't ask till halfway through the show. I am flicking, ladies and gentlemen. I am. Here we go. First one, Jack. So you must have asked a few. BWB. If we get a Conference League, do we win it next season, or do we need more strength? Well, that's a really good question. The reason that's a really good question is because Aston Villa are now proving, you know, that they got beat. What I don't know what the final of the 2 legs.
5-1 or 5-2 on aggregate, I think.
5-2. Yeah, I thought it might have finished 1-0. They have just learnt the hard way as a Champions League chasing side in the Premier League that it's not plain sailing in the Europa Conference. Do we win it? I'm going to go. Well, you know, we won't go into this too much depth because there is a lot of questions to get through. I'm going to go no. I don't think Newcastle have it in the locker to win a European Cup yet. What about yourselves? I'll leave that one. Sorry, I won't. I'll keep a bit of structure. Adam, you first, because you look like you're itching to get them words out.
No, I'm itching to get this out about Unai Emery, about how he's been smoke blown up his arse, about what he's done, and he's done with Aston Villa, and then you listen to what Eddie's done, and it's like, wow, shut up. You know, that's what I think. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
You've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole there, Adam. If we get Conference League, which we might, do we win it next season, or do we not? Or do we need more strength? Which I'm assuming Jack means, would that happen in future seasons? Yes or no?
No.
No, I don't think so. What about you, Jim?
No.
I think we'll have a good run at something just for some hope, but I think it's still probably within that 5-year time frame of looking for trophies.
Mhm. What about you, Hannah?
No, I don't think we'll win it, but I think looking at Villa, we could have a similar run. I don't see why we can't have a good run in it.
Yeah. And you, Colin?
I disagree with every single one of you. I'll tell you why. Every single one of you.
He's put a bet on it.
No, and I'll tell you what, I think you've all got very short memories because we played some brilliant teams in the Champions League this season, and we had
I get that.
good results against them. And they aren't going to be the strength of teams that's going to be in that league, the Conference League. So it gives us a better opportunity. I think we would get as close going to the semis, if not to the final in the Conference
but we
League.
weren't. I get what you're saying, Colin. I like that confidence, but calling a spade a spade. We weren't very good away from home this season in Europe. I thought we were actually, if you look across the 3 matches,
Yeah, are you having a giraffe? We should have beat Paris Saint-Germain away.
Sorry. I'm all about the confidence, Colin, but if you break the matches down, Milan, in the first half, we were absolutely battered. We were awful. We just defended in Milan. Dortmund, we never showed up. And Paris Saint-Germain did still have their chances. We just had a bit of grit about us to almost get over the line. So I don't think we were great away from home in the Champions League. I
didn't say you had to be great, mate. All the great teams grind out results sometimes. It just so happens that way. I think that all 3 games we played, certainly PSG was a fantastic game, and the other 2 weren't that bad. To get to the place that we did in that league, in that actual league, was amazing to do it. I think one of them teams is in the final is just mind blowing, and Joshua in the final. For fuck's sake, what the hell is going on? Anyway, not enough of that. So I honestly think we would get into the semis, if not the finals of the Conference League. But we're not going to be in the Conference League because we are going to finish 50th.
Europa League.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm saying, sorry.
Yeah. I agree with you, Cole.
I was coming back a little bit on the Champions League performances because obviously that's what we were discussing. But yeah, I think there has to be an acceptance that and Aston Villa struggled, and that player who scored 4 goals against them across the 2 legs has actually got 30 goals this season, which is, I think 9 of them have come in the Europe, because I was posting about it last night for random other stuff that I do in my spare time. 9 goals have come in the Europa Conference, so he's certainly, I think against lesser opposition, and I don't want to see Olympiacos a lesser opposition, it is different to the Champions League. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, we better move on to the next question, because if every question takes this long, we might not make the Brighton game. Right. Oh, there isn't as many as I thought. You've been very quiet, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Here's the next one. Mr. Geordie Ash, he's a regular watcher. Hello, Mr. Geordie Ash. I haven't had a chance to say hello to watchers tonight. If we lose tomorrow, do you think Europe is still in our reach? I think if we lose tomorrow, we've thrown it away, although I know mathematically it's still possible. I don't think... I'll just start on these, and then obviously I'll move over to you. I do not think by us losing 1 match tomorrow when we've got 9 to play for still, obviously it will be 6 after that. I don't think with Man United have got Arsenal at the weekend, don't forget that. Chelsea do look on fire at the moment, I cannot deny that, but there is a couple of European places to play for here, let's not forget that. I think we go to Man United, it puts more emphasis on that, but we are talking worst case scenario here. Again, we'll keep this one a little bit shorter. Hannah, I'll start with you on this one. What's your thoughts on Geordie Ash's question?
I don't think we'll have thrown it away, but we'll make it extremely hard for ourselves. I know Man United are terrible, but then I still have that concern in the back of my mind. Chelsea have definitely got the easiest run in terms of, if you look at their remaining fixtures, they've got the better 3. But I would say throwing it away would be harsh. I think would just, in classic Newcastle fashion at times, make things harder for ourselves than we need to do.
And what about you, Colin?
I think we've had our blip this season. I think we're on a roll to the end of the season. I genuinely, and I mean this wholeheartedly, and it might come back and bite us, but I don't think it will. I don't think we'll lose a game to the end of the season. I genuinely don't. And the reason I say us finishing up 5th place is because I think Tottenham will get absolutely smashed against Man City. And I actually think there's a banana skin for Tottenham tomorrow, and I think they'll end up with a draw tomorrow. because is it Sheffield United they're playing? Is it Sheffield United they're playing? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
they've
Yeah.
two of their.
Sheffield United.
Everything to play for, and they've got to play for some pride. So for me, and the players have put themselves in the shop window. So I honestly, I'm having a different mindset from some people, but I'm honestly so confident we'll finish 6th, but 5th would be a huge bonus.
Over to you, Jim.
I think we're going to be at least 7th by the end of the season. And I think that's just something comfortable that once again we could only give up, we could only lose. I don't think the 3 points are going to get dropped tomorrow. So no, I think 7th at the minimum for us.
But getting a little bit more into Geordie Ash's question, if we lose, which is awful to think about, especially when you're on the beers from 7 a.m. over in America. That will not go down well. If we lose, do you think that's Europe out of our reach?
No. There's still 6 points. There's still 6 points minimum.
Yeah. And what about you, Adam?
Tomorrow, I hope to God we win, but I think Wednesday night, Eddie's got a thing about Man United. And I think we'll beat them. And I agree with Cole. I don't think we'll lose a game this season now. We've gone through his blip. We've got the players coming back, and I just think we're going to show people what's coming next season. And
we're going to put 6 defenders on at the back against Man United again.
Yeah. Including 2 goalkeepers.
Right, let's find some more.
I like Jack's other question, Matthew. What is the position we must 100% strengthen this transfer window if we can only pick one?
We're going to go on to Jimmy Barr next. I'm trying to keep them in order, so I don't obviously forget any Jimmy Barr. What section are you sitting in versus Tottenham, mate? And right, it's an Australia-related question. Right, we'll keep this one nice and short and sweet. I'm going to jump in and answer that. Haven't got a Scooby-Doo because...
I know.
Well, then dive in. You answer that one.
You do know this. You just don't always listen, which is not unusual. Cody has our tickets already sorted. Where were the Newcastle fans?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I knew we were in the Newcastle section. I just thought Jimmy maybe meant a bit more specific because I know it's 100,000 seaters, so I wasn't sure. Boom. There you go, Jimmy. We will meet for a beer. I've heard the beers are quite expensive in Australia, so you will get them because we've travelled all that way, if that's okay with you. Daniel. Right, Daniel. Wait, up next. Please ask the Burnley goal question to Hannah. Right, this one's to you, Hannah, specifically, right? Please ask the Burnley goal question to Hannah.
Asking this question. He's asking it because when we watched Match of the Day, after the match on Saturday, obviously I'd been down at Burnley, hence why I'm on this podcast. I was giving it the big one when I was mortal.
Yes, you were.
Now I've been it. And the question when we watched Match of the Day was, did it finish 4-1? I didn't actually know Burnley had scored because I was so...
Hang on. Hannah, you're going to hate me for this, but I've got the perfect moment for this conversation.
No.
So what I did have prepped for the start of this video for intros was a lovely little intro to both Jim and Hannah, which I will share on the screen before this wraps up because it's gone over, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. Where we are. So this was Hannah mid-match. So she'd been drinking on the way down. We all went to Wetherspoons, which was our pre-booked bar. Yeah, so yeah, just that's fine. My pleasure. My pleasure. I saw that on Facebook and I thought, well, she's okay to share it on her own social media, so she doesn't mind me sharing it on one of these. Right. Yes, I like that story. Next question from Jack. Jack's firing them in. What is the position we must 100% strengthen this transfer window if we can only pick one? If we can only pick
right wing.
There you go. Adams is right wing. I'm going to go. Oh, God, that is a really... I mean, I know we will sign more than one player. That is a really, really hard question. If we in a hypothetical universe where we only sign one, that would assume... I'm going to assume that question means Callum Wilson has stayed, so we've got 2 strikers. I would assume that question maybe means. Feel free, anyone else, to take the floor with a position.
Keeper.
Keeper. What about you,
Keeper.
Hannah?
I know we've got Botman to come back in Shaw, but maybe another centre half.
Cher's getting on. Cher is
Yeah.
getting on. What about you? I think you jumped in there, Jim. What did you say there?
Yes, I was gonna say keeper. I think that Martin's probably off. I think I think we're gonna be down to 2 at most, so definitely keeper.
Right. I'm going to go right wing because I feel like I visualise this team where all of our centre-backs are back. We're still strong for at least a season before Fabian Cher decides to hang up his boots and become a male model. We've got options at full-back. We've got
He's the next James Bond, pal.
We've got Tonali and Bruno in the middle. Gordon and Barnes for the left. I think a right winger would make our squad like literally absolutely fandabidosi. So I'm with you on that one, Adam. I will be in your corner on that one. Any more? I think there is some more. God, this is going over. Sorry if any of you have an early night, but I know you're all having loads of fun, so it's fine.
I've got one.
Comment. I've got to say right wing. No, that is. Oh, sorry, we do. We have another one. We have boom, would-be farmer with a very interesting picture there by the looks of things. Will we be selling any of our key players, and are there any surprise transfers that might come in? Right, would-be farmer. I'm just going to go on record and say, as much as I would love the inside information, nobody on this podcast knows what is happening behind closed doors. So I don't think any of us know whether we'll be selling any of our key players. So I'm going to assume that your question means, do we think we will sell any of our key players, and do we think there will be any surprise transfers? I'm going to jump in and say, no, I don't think anyone is going to pay £100 million for Bruno, because in my opinion, this is going to be a controversial one. I don't think Bruno is a £100 million player based off what that money could get in the transfer market on a younger, more exciting. So I don't think, and Isak's definitely a no-no unless someone wants to pay £140 million. Are there any surprise transfers? 100%. I think this window will be huge, and I'll start with you, Jim, this time. What do you think to these two questions?
No key players sold. Still a building platform. I think that they see the keys that are going to be built around, and there's no point in changing those out at this point. Surprise transfers. Hopefully some good frees. There's talks of some players being on frees that'll come in. Hopefully that plays with FFP for our benefit. But no, Isak stays, Bruno stays, Tonali's going to be built around. Pope stays. So yeah, no, I think the big ones will always be here.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Hannah? She didn't like that question. She's gone. She wasn't fan of that question. I'll come over to you, Colin.
Well, it's a really good question. Transfer targets. There's got to be one or two that Eddie's got up his sleeve, and I genuinely don't know who that would be. I personally only see one or two players going, and unfortunately, well, I think Miggy will go. I think Miggy will probably go back to Atlanta. I think that's where he'll end up, back to the club he loves over there as much as he loves us. But I genuinely don't see us getting rid of many people. I think Jim's absolutely right. I think he's spot on the fact that it's still a building team, and so I think you'll find more in January will happen than what will happen over the summer.
And last but certainly not least, what about you, Adam?
Yeah, I agree with Cole. I don't know about the selling players. I mean, we're not going to lose Bruno. We're not going to lose Isaac. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of players that they might need to offload. But the thing is, you don't know about this financial fair play. And, obviously, when's the Champions League revenue coming in? How much are they going to spend? You just don't know. Because we are not the hierarchy. We don't know how much they're going to spend. We'd all like to think, I mean, this thing with the Amazon and the documentary, how much you get from that, all this stuff. But yeah,
any surprise transfers?
No. Ferguson.
Ooh, you like this kid? You really?
I
like
do,
this
yeah. I do, yeah. On the right winger, Gibbs White.
Ooh, yeah. I like Gibbs White, and again, I sound like a stat
Both good
obsessed
shouts.
maniac.
Both good
But
shouts.
he's should just be very, very expensive. That's the problem. I think you go for
50
an
mil.
English player. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, assuming our budget is, we don't know. That's the $1 million question. $1 million. I'm talking your language, Jim. I'm talking your language. $1 million. Yeah, that's a big question. Right, I've been flicking back up for questions because I can't take new questions, unfortunately, ladies and gents, because this show would never end. It would never end if I take new questions that keep coming in. I did see one about Joe Linton. I don't want to ignore anyone's questions. I really don't.
I think what's a really good shout, and I wish I'd said it, is the two players who came back at Crystal Palace and turned their last 5 games round. Olassie is one of them, was
Aliza.
and there was another player as well for them who, both played tremendous for them when they beat us. And at least one of them, and I think Alicia would be a fantastic buy for us.
Yeah, it's speculated, isn't it? It's speculated that Aliza, and what a player. Right hand side, what a player he'd be.
I just don't think I agree that I think him and Eze are both fantastic, but I just don't see a world. I don't see a world yet where Newcastle, with their revenue streams coming in, especially after the figures got released, where we are in a position to I think when we brought in Isak randomly out the blue for the 60 plus, that was when we were able to take advantage of the money that we had at our disposal because of Mike Ashley to a degree, and now we leveling out a little bit. I just don't see a world where we need to build a squad where Eddie Howe says, yes, let's spend 75% of our budget on one player. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong on that. We do have another question, though. Jim Young, will Big Joe and Pope start tomorrow? What formation do you think he'll play? I think he will go with a 4-3-3. I think he'll keep his formation the same. We did very similar against Brighton last season. Brighton's playing style has not changed, can I just say, in the slightest. It is almost identical. De Zerbi is a bit like, well, actually, no, he's not like Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe is quite adaptable, in my opinion. He's proved that in the last 6 months. But De Zerbi, a bit like Klopp, you could say, plays one style of football, and it's that passing style where they rely on people coming out, pressing them, and they play through that. I think they'll go 4-3-3. I don't think Pope's going to come in. I think Pope may come in against Brentford if things are wrapped up by then. And Joe Linton, I think, may get half an hour tomorrow, and then Eddie Howe might unleash him on them horrible mank. Beep! Over to you, Colin, first.
I'm sorry, I've done a lot of disagreeing tonight. I think Big Joe'll start. I think he's desperate to get on there. I really do. I would like to see that happen. I think he will get a start. He probably
Longstaff.
What's that?
I thought Longstaff. Oh,
I think there's. Oh God, we could have a whole show about Longstaff.
He could exactly. This is the thing.
You really could. I don't want to go down that slippery slope because I don't mind some bumps this season, but he has been quite a stalwart for us, and Eddie really likes him, and he can put himself in the correct positions. I'll say one last thing about Longstaff. Sorry, Matthew. Longstaff.
No. I was gonna add something onto that. So if you're bringing Joe Linton in, and by what you're saying, Colin, you would take Longstaff out, which I think in the first midfield three, that's the obvious choice. Joe Linton is not really a right-hand sided of a 3 player. Bruno is going to play centrally. So how do you change that system to bring Joe Linton in if he's going to go with that 3 midfield?
Well, I actually like Joe Linton playing slightly behind the front 2. If you're going to have 2 up front, or even if you have 1 up front, I think Joe Linton's good at that. Joe Linton's got to have the longest legs and seem to extend when he goes in for a tackle. I think it's brilliant to watch. You talk about another player who's turned the course of his game around with Eddie coming in from when he couldn't, he's left up front and he wasn't really a full-time striker. A full striker, he was definitely better sitting in a position behind the strikers or strikers. So I think that's where I would actually having him. Bruno would slightly move out a little bit there, but because Bruno's quite versatile across the midfield, although he knows he likes to sit in the middle. One thing I must point out, and it hasn't been said at all, something happened in the last game that I haven't seen at St James's Park. It's something I've screamed about for years. Does anybody know what they're seeing different in the last match at St James's? I'll tell you what it was.
I've never left.
Anthony Gordon was left up in the centre circle when we were defending a corner. And it was brilliant to watch because it took 2 or 3 of their players back. And it's something we haven't seen in such a long time. And it gave us an
He's got the speed, though. He's got the speed for it. That's why.
Exactly why he was left up there, Adam. And it was brilliant. And I'm kind of being the only person who was joyful to see that happen. It was brilliant for me. The amount of times I've wanted to see that happen, and it hasn't. And to see it happen on the last 12 game was fantastic for me. It really was. It was the best part of the game, and you just thought, that's stupid. It's not, because it gives us an option that we haven't played with the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think Gordon's proved how adaptable he is, to be fair. I mean, I've taken the question off the screen, and to be honest, the question does allude to what we've chatted about earlier in terms of team selection. It's playing on that a little bit. So I will keep it a little bit shorter and sweet. I can't see any of the questions that I might have missed, but I did miss that one when I looked back up. And you might have seen I shared the comment, by the way, Hannah lost connection. So
yeah, I
don't think she's tried to rejoin. Hannah, if you're watching, I think you are. I think your partner might be watching. It's been absolutely class having you on. And thank you very much for joining us. We will
thank you.
Definitely getting you on again. Jim, Pope or Joe Linton? Do you start in 11? I won't touch on the formation conversation too much because, again, we have chatted about that. I think we will play a similar system. Would you play any of them 2 tomorrow from the start?
No, not from the start. I think it'll stay where it was the same as last week. As far as least Martin will be starting, like I said, it's his position to lose at the end of the season. If we drop 2, I can see him coming in, but no, I see Martin starting for sure.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah, I think he'll take same, mate, to be fair. Yeah. I'd like to see Joe start, but I think he needs threats come off at bench. So, a big Joe coming off at bench, every player on that field, opposition team, would look at him thinking, oh, so I'm going to swear, oh, fuck. He'll come out with wall paint after sliding through the overwatered pitch. Oh, yeah, big Joe's on. Right, get ready. Clothesline everybody, score, done. That's it.
I agree. He's an absolute beast.
He's a warrior, man. He's put 2 stone on. He's put 2 stone on since.
Against Casemiro on Wednesday, Battle of the Brazilians.
Oh, get ready.
I think I've wrapped up all questions there. I'm pretty sure I have. I can't see any more. One thing I will do before we wrap this up, Jim, it's been great having you, and I know you and me chat all the time. Before we go, I haven't had a chance because I did have a little intro to talk about the 2 guests a little bit more, but we dived straight in. Anyone watching this from overseas, anyone watching this from America in particular, please tell everyone watching this, all 42 people, but the people who watch it after, exactly where they could find you and your supporters group.
So we meet weekly over in Nashville on Fog Street, currently at Bad Axe Throwing. They're building a English lawn bowling club upstairs that we're going to be invited to, being there for every match for next season. You can find us on socials. We're on Twitter X, on Music City Mags. Facebook, you can search Toon Army Nashville. You can search Music City Magpies, easily findable. I think there's a QR code you can find in one of the programs for us in there, if that makes it easier for you.
Yes, Jim just wanted to get that in there. He doesn't like to mention it, but Jim has been in the Newcastle United program recently, the home program. He doesn't like to bring it up, though. He doesn't like to bring it up. But yes, please dig him out. And Jim also reassures me, as I keep seeing videos of that we've talked about, Nashville looks an absolutely banging night out. It looks absolutely class. That is a part of America I do want to visit. So fingers crossed for pre-season. And Jim, I might see you in the flesh very soon in a certain part of the world where there's a different language. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
They just need to make announcements.
It's coming.
I think there's a song coming to mind I think of turning Japanese. I think of turning
turning
Japanese.
There is an American watching. There's an American watching. We've got Caroline Costello, who I've chatted to over Black and White Banter on socials in the past. She's watching from Jersey, Channel Islands. There you go. Make sure you get over to Nashville. And Jim's promised me anyone who visits him from this stream and quotes the stream, he will buy their drinks all day.
Channel Islands. She's not American, you daft bugger. She's from the Channel Islands.
Hang on. I know Caroline's from Spennymoor because that's the conversation we've had. She lives in America.
No, she
That's
doesn't.
what-
She's from Jersey and the Channel Islands.
Yeah, it says so. Because you said so. It's not this
You're
one,
going
did
to
it?
wrap this one up. I've had an absolute nightmare there, apparently. Yeah. So,
I don't, you donut.
sorry, Caroline. I speak to a lot of people on the regular, more so recently, actually, through TikTok and Facebook. I do get a lot of, I get a lot of Facebook messages supporting me when I get a bit of a, I don't want to say a troll comment, but I have started getting some comments coming in on different socials, calling me a little bit cringe, a little bit this, a little bit that. So yes, apologies, Caroline. That is quite embarrassing for me, and I will probably take that to bed with us tonight. So I do apologise. So yes,
We get it.
I will wholeheartedly apologise because that's why she messaged me, because she picked up my accent that I was from the local County Durham area. But enough of that. I just wanted to give Jimmy's a little chance to get anyone to follow his page, which I encourage anyone to do, and anyone watching from overseas, because it's quite late at night. There might be some people. Anyway, Newcastle fans, fingers crossed we get the 3 points tomorrow. We've got a very, 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 very big 7 days from Sunday. Starting tomorrow, let's say 8 days. Yeah. 3 matches to get European football. It's do or die, which I mentioned last week. And as I've called this live stream, it is crunch time if we're going to be getting our passports out next season. It's been absolutely amazing to have everybody on, everyone in the comments, everyone. Had some great comments just coming in there.
Stands for, don't you? Fuck the haters.
Yeah,
so,
I appreciate that.
There's no bleeping involved then.
Many people like them. Forget the haters.
Colin, I won't get to have the pre-match chat with you tomorrow, but I'm sure we'll speak in the coming days. Jim, we always chat on the regular. Have a good day on your 7 o'clock in the morning beers tomorrow.
Nice
and Adam, keep your eyes to the ground.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I'm coming tomorrow.
No problem. And Hannah, if you're watching, it was lovely having you on. Fingers crossed, Newcastle
United
get over the line. Drop us a like now before you leave, and make sure you stick around because there is lots more videos to come. Away, Eddie House, European chasing.